Hello. Oh,
I
hi. Can you hear me?
can hear you. Yep. I can't
And can
see
you
you
see
yet,
me?
though.
Can you see me as well?
I can't see you yet.
Ah, hold on. One sec.
No problem.
Here we go.
Hello.
Here we go. Hi.
How are
How are you
you?
doing? I'm very good, thanks. How are
Will
you?
Johnson in the flesh. How exciting. So, I've been looking at all kinds of things about you, and apparently you are the complete package. Will, you do stage, you do screen, you've done TV, you're a director, and you dance, and you're a DJ too, right?
I'm a DJ as well, yes.
Yeah. You kind of do everything. Do you sing too?
I can.
Oh,
I
there you go.
can.
See, you are. You're
Yep.
like you're
Yep.
like the whole thing, the triple threat or whatever they used to call it. Thank you so much for your
Oh.
time tonight. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Thank you very much for actually doing this.
Oh yeah, no
Sorry for the
problem. My
delay.
pleasure.
I'm actually I'm going to be directing a show, a play
Oh, is that
in
the one that's coming out in October?
yes,
Flip
yes.
Fraser?
Yeah, so I actually start rehearsals on the 30th of September. So at the moment, I'm in the midst of sort of casting and crewing up and
Yeah.
so it's
So
kind
you're
of
really busy, is what you're trying to say, right?
yeah, so I'm kind of getting my list together of actors who I want to see next week.
Nice.
And then tomorrow we've got a meeting with the social media manager. So the person who's going to be managing our social media account. And then on Thursday, we've got a meeting. Well, we've got several meetings with stage managers and sound designers. And
Wow.
and then
That
we've
sounds
got a
very
pick.
exciting.
It is, but I tell you what, it's a lot of work because this is my first time directing.
Oh, it
I've
is.
never
Oh, well, I
directed
hope it
before.
goes really
No.
well.
Yeah, yeah. So I've kind of I've sort of taken up the challenge of directing, and what I didn't realize was how much work is involved in terms of pre-production.
Oh,
You
right.
see,
Okay.
because when we come in as actors, we just come into the rehearsal room and we rehearse, and then we
Right, right. You
oh,
just come in and do your part and whatever, but you don't have to do
exactly.
all the other things behind the
But we don't
scenes
see
or
all the stuff that
yeah.
goes before we
Wow.
get into the room.
Well, I'm
You
sure that
know,
you'll do really well at that because you do everything else. So,
I mean, the directing part, I'm actually really excited about that because that's about exploring ideas and just trying out ideas. And that's kind of what directing is. It's like, try
yeah.
this, doesn't work, try this, doesn't work, try that. Oh, that works. So that's what that's all about. But then it's actually the coordination of when you have a team involved. So you've got your stage manager, you've got your sound designer,
Hmm.
who's gonna create a landscape for your play, so that the music tells a story as well as the actual pictures and the words. So they're all
Hmm.
working in unison. And then you've got your lighting designer who's then gonna craft a story with the lighting, to create mood, atmosphere, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So all these things which I've never done before, which I'm kind of excited to do. I'm
Oh, yeah.
excited.
It's a lot of moving parts.
It's a lot of moving parts. I've been to see the
Cool.
theater. It's a great space, really good space. It was refurbished back in 2019, so it's kind of brand new, really, in terms of theaters. Um, so it's all great. All the facilities are there, and I mean, it's literally only for one night. So
Oh,
it's
it's a
so
one night show?
yeah, so we're doing one performance in the afternoon, and that's like an open dress rehearsal.
Okay.
And then in the evening, we've got the main event in the evening. So
Oh, okay.
so the actual play itself, it's only going to be about an hour long. So it's not a long play. And I think for me, coming in as a first-time director, that's kind of enough.
Right,
So,
right.
I'll be casting four actors, so they'll be doubling up and playing multiple roles. So
Oh,
they
cool.
so
Very
they have to have
fun.
range. They have to have range as actors.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's fun.
That's
That
their
sounds
skills.
fun. It sounds like like
Yeah,
a good challenge and a fun time.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
who is Flip Fraser? Is that a real person?
Yes, Flip Fraser is a sadly, he passed away 10 years ago. He
Oh,
died of lung cancer. But he was an iconic figure in this country. He was born in Jamaica, came to England when he was 16, um, highly educated, became a journalist, then became an editor of a black newspaper, which was first launched in the mid 80s called The Voice.
oh,
So
that
he,
sounds familiar.
yeah, so
Yeah.
he was their chief editor, and then through life, social injustices, education, etc., it inspired him to create a play called Black Heroes in the Hall of Fame, which basically charts 5,000 years of Black history. So
Wow.
the play that he created was more like a pageant. So you've got
Mhm.
all these iconic historical figures. So, and it sort of goes right the way through till what was then the present day. Because the play, because he started the play in, I think it was 1987. And
Mhm.
I think the final performance was in 1994. Um, but he's one of our unsung heroes. So his widow wrote this play in honor of him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So she wrote the play, and last year we did a rehearsed reading of it. Just to kind of test the waters. And we had another director who was involved because I was acting in it. And then when I was up in Stratford doing the Merry Wives of Windsor, Joyce Fraser, she came to see the play and said to me, she said, "We're going to be mounting the show again, but I would like you to direct it." And I was like,
Aw, that's like it's
that's,
kind of like an honor, really.
and I was like, that's great, but I've never directed before.
Yeah. Did you say, yeah, I'll do it right away? Or were you like,
I, well, I was like, I'd love to do it, but you have to know that I've never directed before. I
yeah.
mean, yes, I will always be up for a challenge because I think that's half an actor's makeup. We
Oh,
like
I
the
would, yeah, I think so.
um, and she said, "No, you'll be fine because you've got so much experience. I
Yeah.
mean, I've been acting on the stage for nearly 40 years.
Right.
So I do have a lot of experience, and I have been very fortunate to have worked with some of the best directors in this country over the years. And you kind of learn stuff, even just by osmosis, just by being in the room.
Right.
So then all of a sudden, I went from an actor's brain, which is just thinking about your part and where you fit into the play, to all of a sudden going, hold on a minute, I've got to think about the whole thing.
Hmm.
And sudden now, now that the RSC job is finished, I can solely concentrate on this. So now all of a sudden now my brain is shifting. So now I'm
Outside the
starting to,
box.
yeah. So now it's like a director thinking, okay, right, okay, that scene, this scene, transitions. Okay, how do we go from that scene into that scene into that
Right.
scene? And what will be the music underscoring it, and what will the lighting be, and what will the staging be? Will they come from there? Will they come from there? Will I have them do something that is almost not like a dance, but something that evolves and moves the story forward so that you know that you're transitioning from, like, there's a scene in the play where um it's in Jamaica, then from Jamaica they then move to England. So how do you create that without
Hmm.
distracting?
That
Cut
feeling of
one scene.
change, right?
Yeah. So my brain is thinking, okay, how would I create that pictorially and musically, sound wise? How do
Right.
I create that? So
Right.
again, and that comes under the banner of transitions, or as some directors call it, vignettes.
Oh, yes.
Some of them call it vignettes, some of them call it transitions. Um, I'm going to use both.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. That's really exciting news. So, I'm sure you could figure out that if you looked at my account or not. I don't know if you did on
I
Instagram.
have, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so like I'm a really huge Outlander fan. So, of the books and the show, like I reread the books like continuously, which is I'm a huge reader, so I love the show. And I really loved, season 3, all your interactions with Katrina Balfe as Claire. Obviously Joe Abernathy is such a integral part of like her whole time when she's back in Back to the Future kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because, she's a woman, 1950s, she's going to become a surgeon. So that's kind of not something that most women would do then. And then,
Exactly.
Joe,
Yeah.
he's going to
Yeah.
become a doctor. And I
Yeah.
rewatched that clip, when Claire comes into the hall for her class, and the professor is extremely dismissive,
Yes.
'cause
Yeah.
she's a woman and Joe's a Negro. And I was like, okay. So, and then everybody's like kind of crappy to them too. But because of that, they form this bond and this friendship, and then they end up becoming colleagues. So it's an interesting relationship, I think. And I'd
Yeah.
love to find out, like, how did you prep for that role? Did you read the books ahead of time, or is that not your thing? Some people don't do that. They just want to go in and just do the role.
Yeah. I purposely didn't read the books, and the
Oh, okay.
reason why I didn't read the books is because obviously the books go into so much detail,
A
and
lot. Those books are huge.
huge books. I thought, look at that, whoa. It's a big book. Okay,
They're a
with
big
lots of
commitment.
words, with lots of words. Um, and sometimes the danger with actors reading the story is that, especially if you're a supporting actor,
Hmm.
you can conjure up in your mind, oh, they could do this and they could do that, do that. Oh, that would be great. And then when it comes down to it, when it comes down to creating a TV show, they have to be very selective and sort of bullet
Right.
point. So a lot of the meat and potato gets cut. So sometimes there's a real disappointment in actors when they've read the book and they
That's a
come
good
in with
point.
all these expectations, and then all of a sudden
Hmm.
it gets slashed. And you think,
Yeah.
whoa, so for me, I just thought, right, let me just go from what they're giving me in terms of the script.
Hmm.
Let's go from there, because I know that most of that will end up on the screen. Whereas if you read the book, 3/4 of it won't.
Right.
Especially if you're a supporting character.
Right.
There's a very good chance that good, a good majority of it won't end up on the screen. And that's
True.
fine, because because they have to make choices and they've only got a certain amount of
Right. Yeah.
airtime.
They can't possibly put all of that content on screen.
Exactly, exactly. But
No, and not have it make sense.
it was a curious one, actually, because the life of an actor, you know, you're constantly going up for auditions. And say if you go up for 20, you might get one.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works. That's the ratio.
It's like
Unless
that. It's like that with getting people for interviews too.
really.
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Sometimes
Wow.
I put a lot out there and I'm like, okay, I guess nobody wants to talk. And then sometimes I wait a while and then all of a sudden it
Yeah.
comes flooding back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that can happen with work. We sort of call it famine or feast. You know.
absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's what
I am
happens.
very familiar with that.
Yeah. And I remember going up for Outlander, thinking, okay, yeah, it's another American audition. But post COVID, we auditioned in the room as opposed to self tapes, which we do now.
Okay.
So I went in, auditioned. I sort of prepped, went in, auditioned, and thought, okay, I wasn't expecting to hear back from it.
Well,
And then about 3 weeks later, I was going for an audition for another job, and I got there a little bit early. So I went in and had a coffee. So I'm having a coffee, and then my agent rings me. And I said, "Hi, Femi." He says, "Hey, Joe." And I said, "No, it's Will." He said, "Hey, Joe." I said, "No, no, no, it's Will." He said, "Hey, Joe Abernathy." Excuse me? He said,
that's
"Booked."
a funny way of telling it.
Yeah. I was just like, because that was my first American role.
Yeah. Well, you
So
did a really good job. I thought
thank
you were
you.
really, really good. Because
So I was
he's a really important character for Claire.
very, very important
Yeah.
character. So,
And
I
later on too, for Brienne.
yeah, yeah, I was completely over the moon. obviously
Yeah,
it's my
absolutely.
first
That, and plus
American
that show
film.
is like such a huge popular show, and there's so many
Yeah,
devoted fans.
yeah. And I hadn't seen the show before, so as soon as I got the part, I then, subscribed so that I can get it on cable.
Yeah,
So me and my wife, we watched. I think it was the first two series we
yeah,
watched, and we're just blown away. I
yeah.
was blown away by it, absolutely blown away, thinking this is quality drama, quality.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's an
It is.
amazing story because it's kind of set in a sort of supernatural kind of science fiction-ish, but it doesn't lean on that. It's there, but it's kind of like, is it? Yep. Then she morphs into time or back into
Yeah.
time. But the way that they do it, it's not what you would expect. It's
It wasn't what I expected. My best friend was like, "You have to watch the show, and this girl has to marry this guy." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't watch that if she has to marry him." I thought that's stupid romance stuff, you know? Because a lot of romances are like they're forced to get married, whatever. So, which I think
yeah.
is kind of crappy writing, but yeah, it was just so quality. I ended up going to get the books before the second half of the first season comes out. I'm like, I'm only gonna read a couple books. Yeah, well, I read everything. Including all the sub books that Diana Gabaldon
Yeah.
wrote, like
Yeah.
the Lord John Gray series and any short stories. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's complete obsessions.
Yeah. But so I was very, very excited knowing that I was going into a quality show,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I got really excited, they said, it's going to be set in Boston and da, 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 da. I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to be flying out to Boston. Then they said, no, you're filming in Scotland
Yeah, right.
on a sound stage.
You're like, oh, okay.
I'm like, okay, right. So I remember my first day filming was when they're having the party and then Frank's missus turns.
Mistress shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
That
right,
was my
right.
first scene. That was
Oh,
my first
really? So
scene.
it's like kind
Yeah.
of out of order.
Yeah. And so I remember turning up and it was just outside. We were filming just outside Glasgow. Yeah, just outside Glasgow. Um, I went to the studio and I saw this huge sound stage. Walked on and I walked into 1955. It was just, I mean, the set is
Yeah,
real,
their sets are amazing.
real. Every single piece of furniture, every prop, everything was actually from 1955.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Nothing was made to look like
Yeah.
it was
Wow.
the real deal.
That's a heck of a
Um,
prop person or prop
yeah.
master or whoever's in charge of that. That's crazy.
Even down to the carpet, the wallpaper, everything. You know,
Wow.
the camera that little Brianna used was an original camera
Oh my
from
goodness.
the 1950s.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, they went into so much detail. I mean, my costume, original 1950s. Everything was like you were in a real setting. It just so happened that there were cameras around and there were lights and people running around. That was the only odd thing, but everything
Yeah.
else was real.
Well, I mean
So
that comes across in the show because
yeah,
it's so detail oriented, it's so authentic.
I mean, the detail that they go into on that show is unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, it's extraordinary. It's
Yeah.
extraordinary. Um, and it was I had a really wonderful voice coach who worked with me. I can't remember her name to be honest.
Okay.
It was a little while ago, but she was absolutely fantastic. Katrina, salt of the earth.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's such the professional, and I
she-
was able to meet her several times. She was very, 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 very friendly and nice every time.
yeah, lovely, lovely,
Yeah,
lovely.
smart, such a smart person, such a good actor.
Yeah, smart, very talented, and very gracious. Because it's always a tricky one when you're coming into a show that's already up and running,
That's what
that
people have told me. Yeah.
that is extremely successful, and that you're working with the lead.
Hmm.
So all of your stuff is going to be with the lead character. She's
Hmm.
the um, and so it's always a little bit of a kind of like, okay, I have to make sure that I'm on point. But
Right.
the great thing about her was that she just kind of makes you feel, you're part of the furniture. So it's all good. So she was very relaxed, very chilled. You know,
Hmm.
we joked and everything, and it was just lovely. So when you're in that setting and you're completely relaxed on that set, you can just fly. The director was
Do really
brilliant.
good work.
What helped me tremendously was the main camera operator. His name was Andre Austin. Um, I'd known Andre for about 15, 16 years because I did a TV series called Waking the Dead,
Oh
and
yeah, I did see that.
he was the main camera operator on that. So when I turned up, and I didn't know that he was involved in the show.
Right.
So when I turned up and he was there, I was like, this is one of my mates. He's here.
Yeah.
Great camera guy. So so that was great. So it was just a lovely atmosphere. Everybody was nice. Costume, makeup, the producers. Um, what was a bit throwing at first was when you're doing one of these big American shows, all the producers are there all the time.
Oh wow.
You got like the exec producer, the associate producer, the producer, and it's like everyone's there, and it's like they're all around the monitor there. Okay, right, okay. So we've cast this British guy to do Joe. Okay. And so as soon as it's like everyone's on the monitor, like watching, like, yeah, we're happy. So there was a little bit of nerves there.
Yeah.
Your
You had,
first role playing an American,
well, I
and it's a
mean, you
big
did, yeah, I
show.
mean, you hit it out of the park. So
Thank you.
I thought it was
So you
pretty,
got
pretty
riding on it.
awesome because I read
This
all
is,
those books before I saw you do that. So,
yeah. Oh, thank
and I
you.
love the one line in Freedom and Whiskey where Claire's finally telling Joe about, I almost said Sam, Jamie. And I'm like, Sam, who I love too, but
Yeah.
Jamie. And she's like, but fate didn't work out. And you're like, F fate.
Yeah. That was
I'm
that
like,
was
yeah.
an iconic line. And
Yeah. Well, you delivered it well because I mean that could go either way. That could go either way.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
good. I love that.
I
And I love
actually, I actually, I mean, I watched the show regardless, even though I'm not in it anymore. Um, and there was a part of me that was hoping that she might have another flashback or something.
well, I
Do
saw
you
it
know?
later in the books, because I know you said you didn't read the books, but later in the books, Brianna does have a whole thing with Joe and his wife, so I was what are you allowed to talk about that, or
No,
they're not
I,
bringing you
I
back for
don't.
that?
Well, it all depends on if they include that in the show or not,
Okay.
because it all
I
depends.
just wondered
That,
because some people are like, well,
yeah.
I can't tell you and I can't confirm or deny. And I'm like, okay,
Oh
that's fine.
God, no, no, no. No one's spoken to my head.
Aw, well, that's too bad because those are some pretty good scenes with Brianna too. So
Yeah. I mean, it would have been nice had they, if they include those, because I'm not quite sure how many more series they're doing before it finishes.
well, I think if social media is true, I believe they only have like about a month or so left of filming for season 8. So I don't know. But I mean
And
I
is
don't know
that
if
the
my
last
information's
season?
correct or not. So
Is that the last season?
season 8 will
Season?
be the last season, right? So
Well, then
season
that means, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, well, that sucks. But they do have the second half of season 7 is coming back finally in November. And
in
then
November. Ah,
yeah, I
okay,
think November 22nd, I think. I
right.
have it on my calendar. Like all my Outlander friends that are, big fans like I am, we all kind of like
Yeah, yeah,
follow the same pages and know the same things more or less.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's been very fun. So I've enjoyed that immensely. So not only did I get, was I able to read this incredible series of books, and
Yeah.
follow this incredible show. I got to go to these events and meet not only actors who were, all of them were excellent and fun and friendly, but I made all
Yeah.
these friends too. So it's been
Oh,
like
yeah.
this fun journey, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with myself when it ends.
Ah. Well, I didn't realize that series 8 was going to be the last
Yeah.
one.
People are unhappy that it's going to end, but I mean, all good things do come to an end. So, I mean,
It would have been nice had they, included Brianna going back and, going forward and, having some stuff with Joe or whatever. For
yeah, I mean, I don't know how I mean, yeah, I'm not sure exactly where they're taking it because did you watch the beginning of season 7? Did you
I
watch?
did, yeah,
Okay.
I did.
So you
Yeah,
know that Roger and Buck are gonna go to look for Jem.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then if it follows the books, eventually Brianna realizes that she finds Jem. He's not through the stones with Rob Cameron. So she ends up going to see Dr. Joe Abernathy and his wife and taking her kids through the stones to find Roger and Buck. So
It doesn't look like they're going to be
I know,
including that.
I'm sorry. But the
I
books are
know,
good if
I
you want to
know,
read
I
them.
know, I know.
He has some really good scenes too. So
there was a part of me that was hoping that they would
yeah. I was
include.
hoping you were just going to tell me, well, I can't talk about it because I've already been on
No,
the set.
I wish I could.
Oh,
I
that's okay.
honestly
But
wish I
then you did
could.
other stuff. You did House of Dragons. Was
Yes,
it Damon Valerian?
yes,
Am I saying
yeah,
that correctly? Yeah. How was
yeah.
that?
That was
Was that tremendous?
that was what I would call next level. It
Oh,
was
that's
next.
great. Where did you film? Was it filmed? Is it filmed in Croatia?
No, we filmed in England.
Oh, okay. So you don't
We
have to go too
filmed at
far.
Warner Brothers Studios.
Oh, wow. How
That's where we
exciting.
filmed. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So all the interiors, or most of the interiors, were all shot at Warner Brothers Studios.
Okay.
Uh, we filmed some of it over in at I don't know if you've heard of Cornwall in England.
I've
Cornwall.
heard of it, yes.
Yeah. So Cornwall is like the end of England, as it were.
Okay.
And there's a little island called St. Michael's Mount. So all the House Valarian stuff, like when it was the funeral for one of the characters,
Hmm.
was shot there. They shot some stuff in Spain. They shot some stuff. I think they shot some stuff in Croatia, but I don't
Right.
know stuff.
Oh, too
All
bad
of
you didn't get to go to Croatia. That would have been
I
cool.
know, I know, I know. All of my stuff was all done here in England.
Yeah.
But that was when I realized like there are levels and levels in this
Yeah,
industry.
for sure.
And
When I saw
have you
that,
frozen?
I'm like, wait a minute.
I think
That's the
you're
guy that played
frozen.
Joe Abernathy. That's Wil Johnson.
Have you are we both frozen?
Oh
Yeah,
no,
we
I can
both
see you.
frozen.
You're frozen a little bit.
We both frozen.
Uh-oh.
What do we do?
Let's see if I
Do
can
something again.
give
Start
it
it
a
again.
second. You can see
Hello.
my internet's